Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Evening, folks. This is Gary.
And that's Keith.
Welcome to Pop Culture Minefield.
Yeah, where we blow people's minds. I think that's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've never read the liner notes, so I don't know what we do. But we talk about nerdalicious stuff, things that are yummy to nerds.
And it's good for you.
Yes. And it stays crunchy and milk. So, let's see. Today, it's Tuesday. And happy Tuesday. Oh, it's so good of you. Come again. And we want to talk about something that really impressed both of us massively. And of course, Tuesday is going to be Marvel Day. And so today, all we're talking about is Marvel. And the first thing, foremost, right out of the top,
$2 billion. $2 billion is what in-game was made.
In 11 days. Now, we were looking at that meme that I posted on my Facebook page, which showed that it took over 1,500 days for Titanic to make $2 billion.
That's
Was it 1,500 days? Was that right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that.
And then, of course, everything after that was within 100 days. Like, not Titanic, the other, Avatar.
Yeah.
Did it in 54 days, something like that, or 45 days. I'm mathematically dyslexic, so I invert numbers. I am. And but anyway, they did it in 11 days. This is mind-blowing. Now, and the thing that blows my mind the most about this film's not even as good as the previous Avengers film. It had something to do that a lot of people realize that this is kind of the end of the road for a lot of stuff that we've had. We've had a decade of some amazing stuff from Marvel, and we're going to be saying goodbye to some of these characters.
Yeah.
They're never coming back, at least not on the big screen. Rumors are that we could see a Captain America and Peggy Carter TV series,
yeah.
which I would be all for.
Outside of the whole what if thing. Because they're going to do the first episode of the What If animated series. But if they decide to just go through and do a television thing with those characters, that'd be fantastic.
Heck yeah, I would tune in. I'm so going to get the Disney Plus thing.
Oh, well, it's have
happening.
Too.
And I never give a crap about anything Disney related. I would never watch the Disney Channel.
They are after you and your money. $6.99 is how much the whole thing's going to cost.
Yeah, and this is what I have to say. When it comes down to it, with these films and where Marvel's going, no matter how much, because I hear people complaining about the social justice warrior aspects and stuff like that, don't kid yourself. Disney is about money. They will all, and the reason why they started this whole thing, and remember, I'm conservative, he's liberal. And we both understand this, that Disney came to this understanding that they needed little boys.
Yeah.
They wanted little boys.
Yeah, they were losing boys as they got older. People would basically get their kids into all kinds of things Disney. But they were losing boys as they started getting, like 11,
They'd
12.
Hit puberty. And they don't want to watch Disney anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney wanted to own something that could bring the boys back.
Yeah.
So when you start going, oh, it's going to be, I've seen the future of Marvel, and it's girls. No, it's going to be all-inclusive. It's going to have boys in there, too. They need to keep the girls happy. I understand that. I'm not going to begrudge them that. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love things for my daughter to have out there and to enjoy. But she's also very, as you know my daughter.
Oh,
as
wow.
Petite and sweet and beautiful as she is, she's got a little hellion streak in her. She's a hellcat, and she just absolutely loves action movies. And it's because I raised her by myself, and she just really loves that kind of crap. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was her childhood. From day one, before she was even born, she was in the belly, and we went to see Star Wars Phantom Menace. And we're in the Lebanon newspaper on the cover, waving at the photographer. And Zoe was hidden in that photo. She was an Easter egg in that photo. I know I'm a dick.
Not a dick. You are just a total cool geek dad.
And but you are too, man. You raise your kids the same way.
Yes, I did.
Our kids are very well cultured. It's one thing we talk about our kids, and I find this commonality in how we raised our children is that they have this great appreciation for classic rock and listening to really good music, not just listening to whatever's popular now. Even though my daughter went through that phase where she wanted to do the scene. Is it called scene? Scene, right?
Yeah.
And she liked to do the emo thing. She went through that. And don't get me wrong, there were some modern bands that she liked that I actually thought were pretty good. The 1975 I liked.
Yeah.
I liked, what was that other one she liked? Number One with a Bullet. Loaded. God Complex, Cock and Bullet.
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy. And but I said
my daughter liked those guys too.
they started out emo, but the fact is they were pretty much pop rock.
Yeah.
After that first album hit the sales, and so she listened, but she also listened to Sting, the Police, the Beatles. No Rolling Stones. I don't like the Rolling Stones. Never have. Not since I was a kid. I was like, ew, what are you listening to? My brother Steve. I hate them. Paint it black? What? But he put the Beatles on and Genesis and Yes and stuff like that. And that's what I raised Zoe on. Even threw in some Leonard Cohen and Tom Waits.
Well, you got to balance it out.
Yeah. And, of course, modern, one of my favorite artists was Seal. And I still consider him one of the greatest soul R&B artists of the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Not the best, but one of the best.
Good voice.
Amazing songwriter. But I diverged. So we got to head back to Marvel. So $2 billion for Endgame.
Yes.
And we're looking at a film. I really do predict that they could hit $3 billion. Because
they are right now at $2,193,000,000.
I think they can hit $3 billion. I really do.
Really?
I do. I think that the film is really doing well overseas, and people love this film. It's not the best Avengers film.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Well, look, I still think they might have a little trouble covering that $600 million that they need in order to catch Avatar. But,
you think so?
I think they might.
My money is on them. My money is on them doing it.
I'm just...
11 days. Are you kidding me?
That is just nuts.
There's no way they can't catch up.
Look. I will say, asking me that question about whether or not it would actually make $2 billion and beat Titanic 3 months ago, I would have said no. The movie would be successful, but I didn't think it would.
When we started getting those pre-sales, and it was crashing, Fandango and all those other early sales.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's something happening here, and I really do attribute this to it being the end of the road.
Yeah.
For this phase.
Yeah.
And the next phase is really going to be focused on the small screen.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be getting so much big screen stuff, which I think is sad. But at the same time, we're going to get some really good small screen stuff. I mean, and before we move to the next phase of this conversation, we had talked about something else, and I wanted to bring it up, is Zoe Saldana, because he brought this up the other day to me, because I was dismissing her. I like her. I think she's a great actress. I think she's really good at action actress, too. Mm-hmm. She was in The Losers, and then she did that action female Avenger film where she was getting revenge. And I can't remember her name. Really good
Colombiana.
Colombiana. I liked it.
Yeah.
She's really good. She's gorgeous, but she's also really a good actress. And
look! What she did. I mean, people can have their opinions about Avatar, but what she and all those actors did in that film is hard. You have to be a very good actor or actress to do that.
Exactly, and that brings up the point that Zoe Saldana, she is in 3 of the 5 films that have grossed over $2 billion. She's in 3 of the 5, and that's when my dismissing her is never going to happen again.
Yeah, she's just good, and she's got a really good agent.
And and you see that, and it brings up another thought, because the whole Bunderbutt Camberfatch, Bunderbat Cumberbink.
Yes.
That guy that played Doctor Strange. He's
Yes.
a great film, and he's a very good actor. But he did this shirt thing where he's like, he's not going to do a film where his female co-star isn't paid the same as him. And I'm like, you are literally bucking how the system works. Because Hollywood was based on one simple principle. It's what you bring to the table.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with your sex. It has to do with what you bring to the table. And why they're making this about sex, I don't know. Because if Meryl Streep was in a film with Zoe Saldana, Meryl Streep's going to take more money than Zoe Saldana. Oh, it's sexist. No, it's not. It's about what you bring to the table. And it's the same thing with Bunderbatch Cumberbum.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
That guy. And
one of my 2 favorite Benedicts.
Eggs Benedict is the other.
Oh, I thought it was Benedict Wong.
But he is really one of my favorite actors. And I loved his Doctor Strange. But what he's saying makes no sense. And I have no trouble with going, I believe in fair play.
Yeah.
I do. I believe in it. But say things that make sense. Don't come from a position of a lack of logic. And there's no logic in that statement. It's because you're not getting paid as Benedict Cumberbatch to be there and co-star in a film with somebody who's never made anything. It's like when Michelle, what's her name? She was complaining that her lead actor got more money than her. It was
Rodriguez?
No, it's the guy from the 2 last Transformers.
Oh.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
That he was getting more money than her. And I'm like going, well, that's because he brings people to the theater. Nobody knows who you are, Michelle. Not that she is a great actress, and I love her. She's in this new miniseries about Bob Fosse. Really good.
Yeah.
And
Michelle Williams.
Michelle, she's great.
Yeah.
In the part of his wife, Dancer. And she was in Damn Yankee. She's playing that dancer actress. And just a tremendous job on the show. Nails it.
Gwen Vernon.
Push it. That's her, yes.
Yeah.
I had a big thing for her when I was a kid. But anyway, she's not going to bring people to the seats like Mark Wahlberg. Because Mark Wahlberg is not an actor. He acts. He does acting. And he lives in an acting career. But the fact is he's a star. He's a name. He's a commodity. He is a commodity. And his brother Donnie is 100 times better an actor than he is. But that's what he brings to the table. And Michelle Williams upset and couldn't sleep because he got paid so much more than her. Well, that's the cold hard reality of having a name. If he was a woman that had that kind of ticket sales, it would be the same story. Would she be aghast and not be able to sleep? So what is really at issue here is it's sex. And it's stupid. That's a stupid argument. And so going back, Saldana kicks ass. She deserves to get paid a hell of a lot more than what she gets paid. I'll tell you that. That's why her having a good agent, that needs to change. Because 3 of the 5 films, that woman should be being paid more than Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So, and then of course, now we want to talk about Endgame. So, we were told today that the moratorium on spoiler talk was lifted as of today.
Yeah. By way of the Russo brothers and Marvel Studios.
Well, actually, it was Monday. Monday. It was lifted Monday, so yesterday.
Yeah.
So today we should officially be able to talk about it. But because we respect you guys, because you're all our fellow fans, we tell you right now, we're going to do some spoiler talk about Endgame. And we want you to know that we love having you here, but we'll understand if you're going to tune out, because we're going to talk about what happened in Endgame.
So there are still those particular people who probably couldn't get babysitters or had to work or had a family tragedy.
Film showings were sold out. We get it. We get it.
There are all kinds of reasons.
We hope you'll tune in later after you see the movie.
Yes.
And watch this episode.
Yes.
So come back. But right now, big graphic from Craig. Craig's graphic. Oh, there it is. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Klaxon. Anyway, so we're going to talk about not only Endgame itself, its impact on the franchise, where they're going to go from here, what they can do, and really the end of the Spider-Man films for the MCU.
Yeah.
Which is the new film, and the trailer just downloaded yesterday, and it is, of course, we're talking about Far From Home. Now, Far From Home touches a lot on the subject of what happened in Endgame.
Yeah.
And they also discuss what we've talked about before, the multiverse.
Yeah.
Because we've been reading comics since we were kids, and the multiverse was part of what we read.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is this impact? Go into it, man. Knock it out of the park.
Look, the impact that Spider-Man that Spider-Man's film is going to have is Endgame was really the end of the Infinity Saga. Spider-Man Far From Home, then, is one long, you could say, it's one long, it's meant to give you a representation of how everything is left in the aftermath of that story. So it's meant to catch you up on what the entire world is like in the aftermath of having survived this major event where half the population basically was just out of existence. And now they're back. Except the fact that for those that have actually seen the movie, you realize everybody that came back, the people that didn't get zapped out of existence are 5 years older.
Yeah, they're 5 years older. And I was thrown off a bit when they did come back, when Peter Parker runs into his buddy.
Yeah.
And in the high school, and there's kids around, nobody looking at him weird. It's no weirdness about the scene. They're just, it's like they never left. And it's like, no, 5 years has gone by.
Yeah. But the assumption is that mysteriously, all the kids that were in the last Spider-Man movie with Peter Parker, chances are all his close friends were all zapped with him.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they're doing, which I call bullshit on. Bad writing. You know, as Deadpool would say, that's just lazy writing. That's just lazy. I'm sorry. But, you know, isn't that convenient?
Yeah.
Or as the church lady would say,
yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So, they all disappeared, huh? Convenient. So that's what they're going to do. I'm fine with that. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's just fantasy. But I like my stuff to come from a place of reality. And our phones keep chirping. Mine chirps, his chirps.
Yeah.
And we always forget to turn them off.
It is going to create an interesting view of that world. The final view, at least as far as everything with the reality of Endgame, but also the after effect for any things that come after. Now, one of the things that will change in light of everything that has happened is how the MCU is going to start making their own television shows. which means that I think one of the last shows related to anything that they're doing that is non-MCU show will be a show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it looks like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be affected by everything that has happened in the aftermath of Endgame. In fact, interestingly enough, for those of you that are still watching the show...
They took a break.
Yeah, they took a break. But also, it looks like they've been in on the planning of what Endgame and Infinity War had been since before they went on that break. It turns out that for those that are still watching the show...
I love that show.
Yeah. You realize that one of the characters is actually related to two of the other main characters from the show. That he is, in fact, their grandson from the future. And that whole adventure that they had last season, they realized that now he's living with them in the present, but there's been no real effect. And that became kind of a pseudo-dangling story thing left over from last season. Well, now, in light of Endgame, we now are starting to formulate theories as to why that is. And it's starting to make a whole lot more sense than prior to Infinity War and Endgame. And then with the whole thing with Coulson being dead, or at least dying on this show, and how you can have a whole different Coulson come back and be completely different.
Yeah.
So it's looking like there's an attempt to actually clean house a little bit and get things to at least...
And bring it to where
Yeah.
Feige's happy with it.
Yeah.
And because now every show is going to be run by Kevin Feige. Even if he's not the showrunner of that show, the series,
Yeah.
he is the showrunner of that series. And that's just how he does things. And we're not going to have him much longer, I guarantee you, because we're going to be losing Bob Iger soon,
Yeah.
in a year. And I bet you we're going to lose Kevin Feige within a year of that.
There's no... Look, I totally enjoy Kevin Feige. Speaking as a fan of the MCU, I would rather not see him go. But you also have to think of it this way. This guy has accomplished something in 10 years that even the most celebrated
Over
producers,
$20 billion accumulatively for all of his films.
and realistically, if Spider-Man is just $1 billion film, that's really going to work out to where pretty much every film that the MCU has released will be as of right now is just over $900 million a piece.
Yeah. It's just mind-boggling what he's done.
I mean, really, he's got nothing left to prove at this point.
Nothing to prove. He went at this, and everybody expected him to fail, and instead he knocked it out of the park every single time. Even with the shows the films that didn't do as well, it was still good. They're like pizza. Even when it's not good pizza, it's still pizza. It's still good.
And again, people have speculated, well, what's Kevin Feige going to do next? My answer is whatever the heck he wants.
That's right. And so we've lost Iron Man, and we've who else passed away? We still didn't get Vision back. I thought that was a plot hole, not a plot hole, but something missing.
Yeah.
That because I understand that he had the stone, but he still should have come back in some form. He has to come back because we've got a TV series.
Yeah.
So why did they leave that out? I just kind of threw me.
Black Widow,
we lost Black Widow,
which is going to make doing the movie interesting, unless they take it out of that 5 years that's kind of covered in the Endgame film. Where if you have her movie set during that 5-year period, you can actually see how her story kind of sort of comes full circle as to starting out as this person fresh out of the program, becoming the Black Widow, and making her way all the way around to basically becoming.
And that's kind of what I'm hoping is that we go back a bit,
yeah,
and see some other stuff. Or because it is the MCU, and they are talking about multiverse, there may be a universe where she's not dead.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter. We get a version of her, and I will look forward to it because she's the bomb diggity-o as Black Widow. Seriously, I did not like her as an actress until she did that. And I remember when she was young, a teenager, when she did Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah.
With David Arquette. Loved that movie, but I was like, oh, she was okay. And then she did the murder thriller that took place in the 40s about the Black Dahlia.
Mm-hmm.
And I, again, was not impressed with her. But then she put on the costume for Black Widow, and I'm like, I'm all in. I like her now.
Between that and The Prestige.
And she was good in that. But still, I was not sold yet. It wasn't until Black Widow. Black Widow is the thing that put me over.
Yeah.
And now I am absolutely a Scarlett Johansson fan. When she was in the Bill Murray movie
Yeah.
in Japan, I cried. Yeah. I cried. Shut up. Especially you, what's his name? Stone Pie Media. Stone Pie Media. You know you're mocking me. I know it. I see your posts mocking me. It's because I'm fat. I'm really sensitive on that. Anyway, we got so much coming, and I guess we can just go ahead and wrap up this episode. We
are in awe of the MCU. That's the easiest thing to say. And there's a lot of you out there, specifically Hollywood types, that don't want to believe any of this. All I can say is you don't have to believe, except the fact that the math and the numbers.
Of those idiots out there, and you know who you are, that say franchise fatigue.
Oh.
You don't know what you're talking about. This is a made-up thing. It's completely fake. Oh, that's not me saying I think it is. No, it's absolutely fake. It is not real. There's no such thing as franchise fatigue. That is just simply the excuse of people who either A, don't like comic book movies or sci-fi films, or want to give an excuse to bad writing.
Yeah.
Because that's the fatigue you see in theaters. When a movie doesn't do well, it's fatigue of people not wanting to see shitty movies. That's a real fatigue. And with that, that's Keith.
That's Gerry.
And this is Pop Culture Minefield. And we're out of here.
But
Y'all
remember,
come back now.
Hit that like button.
Oh my God. Like us.
Comments.
Comment.
Leave questions.
Yeah, say things.
Yes.
Insult us. Me. Don't insult him. Insult me because I like being insulted. And on top of that, show some support. We got one person who's put some money into the coffer for us so we can keep getting better and eventually get out of my studio and get into a real studio maybe. But support the program if you like us. Share. Tell your friends. Go, you guys should watch these guys. They're funny. You know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, with that, again, we're out of here. Have a great day.